iHomeEducate. As we grow, we know.
His mother, at the hearing today, Prince Harry's legal team said that he felt unsafe, and he will continue to feel unsafe here given the arrangements that are in place for his security. So he has offered to fund a substantive Scotland Yard personal protective security for when he would return again.
And on the basis of what we've heard in court, what are the Home Office's concerns with simply allowing Prince Harry to do that?
Well, a skeleton argument on the part of the Home Office emerged today. We haven't had the substantive hearing on these issues yet, but what we did learn today is that the Home Office are going to push back on a number of grounds. There are legal technical grounds, such as the fact that they say he's run out of time to make this claim. He didn't make this offer of paying for Scotland Yard protection when he was here last year. But perhaps the thing which may have caught people's eye was the fact that the Home Office have said that we do provide security for him on a case-by-case basis, and it depends on the functions he's exercising when he is here. And in addition to that, they've said that he fails to recognise the Home Office and the relevant task force, RAVEC, which is a task force of civil servants and security officials who decide on a democratic basis where and when and who should receive state security when they are here. So there's a range of grounds in which they're pushing back.
As you suggest, Ben, this is early days in the legal argument. When might this be resolved one way or another?
We don't have a date yet for the substantive hearing, and it's likely to be later this year. In fact, today was related to the case, but somewhat detached from it, because it was a hearing on which both sides are in agreement, or largely in agreement, and that is that for when the hearing does take place, large elements will be redacted or concealed from view in terms of reporting. They were issues in relation to witness statements and security arrangements, which will be discussed. So there was some pushback from some media at today's hearing, who said it was a contradiction of law and justice. But it is on that point that both sides are in agreement.
Ben, thank you. Ben Quinn, news reporter for The Guardian. Great Britain have been stripped of a silver medal won at the Tokyo Olympics. Rob Harris is the global sports correspondent for the Associated Press. What's the medal? What's the controversy?
Well, it's the silver medal that was won by Britain's 4x100-metre relay team at the Tokyo Olympics. It was a huge moment on the final weekend of the action in Tokyo, and it helped GB match their haul of 65 medals from London. But now they've all been stripped of their medals, the 4 members of the relay team, because of this one positive case for CJ Uja. We discovered it a few days after the Olympics in August. The case had been going through the Court of Arbitration for Sport, and now we do have the final findings, the fact that they have rejected CJ Uja's assertion that he didn't know, he unwittingly took this substance.
What was the substance, and what? Tell us more about his explanation for it.
Well, the substances were an ostarine and S23. Now that's selective androgen receptor modulator, which helps to build muscle.
Yes, please explain what that is.
So
well done for saying it.
Building, yes. And he had tried to claim that he didn't know he'd ingested it, but they, as I say, they rejected that argument, and he has apologised today. He has expressed his regret, and so have the British Olympic Association too, particularly for the 3 other members of that relay team. Darnell Hughes, we also had Daniel Mitchell-Blake, and also Richard Kilty, who all thought that they were going to get silver, and it was a thrilling finish. I was in the stadium in Tokyo, largely empty stadium because of the restrictions on fans, and they came close to pipping Italy actually to gold, but now they have been removed of the silver.
So they have to literally hand the medals back, and I presume whoever came 4th moves up to bronze?
Yeah, that's the case, and British Olympic Association say actually they for many years have particularly campaigned about Russian doping. British athletes have benefited in recent years from being upgraded themselves, and that's the situation that GB now find themselves on the receiving end of having to hand those medals back, and we had celebrations for the other athletes as well in those weeks after Tokyo, that they were going around able to celebrate their silver, and obviously it's a huge disappointment for them, and it has a knock-on effect to things like sponsorship and things like that, because their performance can deliver those funding benefits as well, and now as it stands, it's one of the biggest scandals this in British Olympic history. The fact is, an athlete being stripped of medals like this.
What happens to CJ Yuja now?
Well, now we're waiting sort of further news of this case. This was purely the ruling on on what happens to that from the Court of Arbitration for Sport, the anti-doping division, and really is now, it is a loss on his reputation for sure.
And you do feel, as you've indicated, for the other 3 athletes?
Oh, absolutely, because they did not know, obviously, this when they took to the start line, and that's something that we heard from the BOA today, making that point that they expect all members of their team to be clean. They're an association that campaigns so much for clean sport. They said they've been unequivocal in how they have done so, and as the BOA say, it is with deep sorrow that colleagues and opponents of UJR were not able to be reassured of the fact that everyone was clean in Tokyo. So as it now stands, that is the situation, and we are waiting still to hear from UK Athletics in full. They say they're still waiting until the end of the conclusion of the process, because it will now be for the World Athletics and the Athletics Integrity Unit to effectively determine those sanctions. In fact, just today we've had a sanction actually from elsewhere in the World Athletics today from the World Athletics Integrity Unit, and which just shows the problem of doping. A different case actually involving a Nigerian sprinter, Blessing Okabeya, and she received a 10-year ban, but not expecting anything like that in this case. That was part due to her non-cooperation.
Rob, thank you so much. Rob Harris, Global Sports Correspondent for the Associated Press. A 14-year-old boy has denied the murder of 12-year-old Ava White, who was stabbed to death at a Christmas event. Reporting for LBC from Liverpool, Liam Gotting.
Members of Ava White's family were in court this morning and began crying when the 14-year-old boy pleaded not guilty to murdering the 12-year-old Ava in Liverpool after a Christmas light switch on. The teenager, who cannot be named for legal reasons, appeared at Liverpool Crown Court charged with murder and the possession of a bladed article. He denied murder but pleaded guilty to possessing a blade. Ava had been in Liverpool city centre for the festive event on November the 25th when she suffered what was described as catastrophic injuries by Merseyside police during her funeral just before Christmas at Liverpool's Metropolitan Cathedral. The year 8 pupil who was stabbed to death was described as a daredevil who brightened up everyone's day. An inquest in December heard how Ava had died from a stab wound to the neck after being rushed to Alderhay Children's Hospital, where she died shortly afterwards. The trial, which is expected to last around about 3 weeks, has now been set for Liverpool Crown Court on May the 9th.
Liam Gotting reporting. This is LBC at 5:45. Tim Humphrey has the headlines.
Storm Eunice has brought gusts of up to 122 miles per hour to southern England, with thousands of homes left without power. Commuters are facing heavy disruption, with many train lines suspended or reducing services. Flights and ferry services are also impacted. Team GB's women's curlers have guaranteed themselves at least a silver medal.